Welcome back to HD Family Laws, Divorce and High Definition. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so the last two videos, I told you a little bit about myself. I told you my background and I told you why I think that I do what I do. So let me tell you a little bit about how. The way I like to see my practice, and this will help you when you're looking for an attorney, right? When you're looking for an attorney for a divorce, there are many things to consider. First of all, how long they've been practicing, their background, their experience. Are they solely focused on family law? You know, I've always focused on family law and divorce. I've never practiced any other law. I worked for an attorney while I was in school. You know, has the attorney that you're seeing, does he do, you know, or she do general practice? Do they have their hands in many different things, but they're not specialists or great at any one thing? I'm not saying that general practitioners are bad. There are many general practitioners that are wonderful. But, you know, if I was going to see a doctor and I needed a specialized sort of surgery, I would get a referral to a doctor that specializes in that field. So it's sort of the same. It's sort of the same that, you know, divorce and family law is a very specialized field of law, right? And so I would always recommend that when you seek out an attorney, you make sure that they have experience in that field and that they possibly even only practice and devote their practice to that field. Sometimes family law does kind of go hand in hand with, you know, criminal law because there are, you know, we represent clients in domestic violence cases and we obtain restraining orders for those clients and that's of a criminal nature, right? But for the most part, you need to think of the attorney as a specialist and have they really devoted their time and effort to the field of divorce and family law. Now, beyond their experience and beyond their knowledge and beyond their years of how long they've been doing this, or, you know, you have to really ask the right questions to figure out if that attorney is client focused. Now, what do I mean by that? So I had explained to you before that I worked for a firm and that they didn't quite jive with the way that I did, that I wanted to run my practice, that I thought clients should be represented like. Right? So I'll explain to you what I mean. So HD Family Law prides itself on being client focused. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, aren't all law firms client focused? Don't they all focus on a client? But it's not that simple. There are law firms that are billable hour focused, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it is a business, right? I own HD Family Law. It's a business and I have to pay my bills. However, what is the priority, right? And a lot of firms have billable hours as a priority, right? You know, just bill. And what does that mean for the client, right? You know, people say, you know, go for the shark, right? Somebody who will really fight for you, you know, that bulldog attorney in the courtroom. And, you know, sometimes that's necessary. But most of the time, when an attorney creates fights and creates animosity and makes things so much worse than they really need to be in an already very stressful and very conflict-ridden process, that does nobody but the attorney good, right? The only one that benefits from creating more and more conflict is the attorney, because they get to bill you. They get to bill you for that time. They get to bill you for the stress that you're going through, right? While possibly just destroying the relationship altogether, I mean, most people get divorced because of irreconcilable differences, but when those irreconcilable differences could have been mitigated and they could have been dealt with without that high intensity level of animosity, then oftentimes the client ends up paying less and faring better, because you're not going to hate each other at the end of the day, or you'll hate each other less, right? And you'll be able to actually take some control of your process if you're not constantly fighting, if you're trying to compromise. So what do I mean by client focused? I mean that when a client comes into my office and they sit with me for a consultation, I listen to what they are telling me. I devote my whole time during that consultation listening, trying to figure out, what does this client need? What do they value? What do they find most important? What, at the end of the day, are their goals? How are they going to be okay, financially secure, emotionally all right, personally all right, at the end of the day, at the end of the divorce? And then I start to strategize. I build a roadmap from what they've told me, from what they've provided me, the information that they've provided me, to ensure that their needs are taken care of, that their goals are met to the best of our abilities, right? I'm not thinking of publicity focused. I'm not thinking of, pleasing other attorneys or pleasing the judges because I'm going into politics someday. I'm not thinking of, how much can I bill you? What are the problems, what problems can I make for you guys to rile this divorce up? No. Client focused means you're focused on the client. That's it. You're doing the best for your client. You're trying to get your client's goals. So that's a little bit about, so when you go and you're looking for an attorney, you have to sort of see where they come from. Look at what they've put on their website. Are they always fighting? Are they always writing about how you can, win? Because, that's often a telltale sign about what their take on is in this field and what they're going to do to make their money. And, or are they the flashy attorney who's always on the news and they're always taking the, the most scandalous cases, right? You have to really see, read the reviews. Did the attorney listen to the client? Was the attorney accessible? Were their reviews, on par with what you want from your attorney? You have to be very careful with that. I've had so many clients come to my office from an attorney where they say, I never felt heard. They would never return my phone calls. They never took the time to answer my questions. I felt like they were always annoyed with me. All I would hear about is problems. They would have conversations with the other attorney, and then all of a sudden my spouse would call me extremely angry, and I didn't know where it was coming from, and I hadn't even discussed that. You don't want that. Our process is hard enough without your attorney making matters worse. So here at HD, we make sure that we're client focused, and you need to make sure that when you find your attorney, they're client focused. Now, at HD Family Law, we represent many high net worth cases, meaning we do, clients who own businesses, clients who have inherited large amounts of money, clients who are high up executives, And oftentimes their cases are extremely complicated, and you would think extremely litigious, that they're fighting. But when you go to a law firm that has a settlement goal-oriented approach, where they are really sitting down, they're processing what needs to be done, they give you the roadmap. They give you a roadmap of what your future will be like after the divorce, what it could be like with a little bit of compromise, how we protect your most treasured assets, how do we protect your business, but we make sure that we're not creating a huge public fight. We're not creating all of the animosity that's really unnecessary. Here at HD Family Law, 95% of our cases settle, and my clients are always walking away happy and content with their settlement. Because guess what? When cases settle and you work really hard with your client to negotiate and create and be creative, the best possible outcome that they could get, right? Then they've had control over the process. They've had a say. When you go to court and you're duking it out and you go through trials that cost $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, and that judge makes a decision meeting somewhere in the middle, then you had no control over that. How sad is it? It's your life. It's your family. Don't you want some control over the outcome of your case? And the only way to truly have a say, to truly have control over it, is to figure out a way to get to a place where you can come up with an agreement, where you can, have a meeting of the minds and say, okay, maybe I didn't win 100% and maybe you didn't win 100%, but we're both leaving okay. We're both leaving and we're going to both be able to enjoy our lives and not go on with all of that bitterness and hatred and hurt, So that's where we come from. There are attorneys that will, tell you that we will fight. You'll get everything. You'll win. But you know what? At the end of the day, most people don't win. And even if you think you won by beating somebody else down, you didn't really win at the end of the day, because you walk away with all of that hate and all of that bitterness, and you only have one life to live. So here at HD, we're client focused and we're settlement focused. We litigate and we go to trials when necessary, but really we value a settlement goal-oriented approach for our clients. And I think that when you're looking for an attorney, you should be very well aware of their goals, right? The way they practice. Because if you're not, and you want to do things amicably, and you want to do it as easy as possible, and as amicable as possible, and as reasonably priced as possible, you have to ensure that the attorney that you're seeking is on the same page as you. They're really match you with their personality, right? Because you could have two attorneys with the same amount of years, the same amount of experience, the same education, and they could be vastly different in their approach and what they're really doing it for and what they're getting out of it. So I wanted to give you that little tidbit about how I practice and how when you're looking for an attorney, how you should be looking for, what you should be seeking out, and you should be really clear on what your goals are, right? Because here we also do mediations. We think that mediation is very, very, very important and very helpful. We represent clients through mediations. We conduct mediations at HD Family Law. We really, really, really value the settlement goal-oriented process of divorce, just because we've seen that there's typically a much better outcome for our clients. All right, so I hope that you now understand what to look for when you're seeking out an attorney. I wanted to give you a little bit of that information, a little bit of insight. Until next time with divorce in high definition. I will see you soon. Goodbye.